If you're doing everything you're supposed to do with money, but you're still feeling behind, there's a reason for that. And it's not because you're lazy or you're irresponsible in some way. Maybe you are already tracking your expenses. You're cutting back where you can. You're really trying to be good with money, but it still feels chaotic, maybe overwhelming, and like you're never catching up. And then what happens is that most people think that the solution is actually to try harder. But that's the problem. So a lot of people who feel behind with money are actually doing a lot of the things right. What I'm talking about here is not spending recklessly, not completely ignoring your finances. You might even be saving something. But here's what I see people do. They start with control and with sacrifice, when actually they should start with structure. So feeling behind is not about how hard you're working, it's about working in the wrong order. And that matters more than people realize. And let's look at this in detail. Most people start by trying to control their spending or force themselves to save more. They open their budgeting app, maybe even set themselves strict limits, and then maneuver their ways through the month. But this is doomed to fail, because trying to control something without having a structure, it's exhausting. Then every decision like, should I buy this or can I buy that, becomes a test of willpower. And then you're relying on discipline instead of design. And that is what eventually is making you burn out or giving up. And the really sad thing about this is that you end up thinking that you are the problem. Like if you just had more self-control, then it would work. Do you know what I mean? But that is not what's happening. The truth is, money doesn't become calm when you're trying harder. It becomes calm when things are set up in the right order. And the right order is structure first, and then behavior. So not the other way around. So what this means for us when we think about our money is that you cannot out-discipline a bad system, a bad money system, because that one is relying on willpower and on behavior a little too much. But structure is what automatically leads to the right behavior. So when your money has structure, you don't need to make 473 decisions every day. You don't have to constantly second guessing what you're doing, because it's not you who makes the decisions in a way anymore. It's the structure or the system that does all the work. Guys, I'm telling you, this is really my favorite part about money. So it is the right structure that turns I should into it already happened. So here are some examples how this looks like in real life. Example number 1 is saving without a system. Let's say you tell yourself you're going to save what's left at the end of the month. So you're constantly trying to spend less wherever you are, whatever you do, skip things and be good. And then at the end of the month, you have like $83 left, maybe. Now what structure would look like is you have an automated transfer on payday. So the saving happens before you even see the money. And that way you're not trying to save because it's already done. Are you guys getting this? So one version requires constant effort and the other one requires only one decision, and that's it. Example number 2 is investing without clarity. So let's say you should invest. Maybe you're already reading articles, you're reading books, you compare brokers and you're stressing about what investments to pick. But you're paralyzed by all of the options. Now how structure would look like is you would decide once, this much, this often, this fund, then it repeats. And you have to not research, instead you just do your thing. And it's done. And again, can you see this? One version, the first one, keeps you stuck. And the second one keeps you moving with only one decision. God, I love that. Okay, and the third example would be tracking without direction. Maybe you are someone who tracks every dollar, you know exactly where your money goes, but you still don't know what to actually do about it. Or maybe know what to do with the money that is left. By the way, I hear that time and time again, especially from high earners, that their money just accumulates in their bank account. Anyway, now what structure looks like, you have 1 to 3 spending categories that you really care about, that matter to you, and you have a separate account for those. So besides the one where your daily/weekly/monthly expenses get paid from, because those are roughly the same every month, right? So one version is simply collecting data, but the other one is direction. It's you actively and mindfully spending money on the things you care about. So I'm not saying that you have to obsess over every little process, or that you need to build some elaborate system by tomorrow, or that you have to live like a monk. So it's really important for me to let you know that this is not about living extremely frugal, because as you might know, I don't like that at all. It's also not about constant tracking, perfect discipline, where you're basically making your money a second job. Instead, what this is, it's a few decisions made once, then repeated automatically. That is structure. And to reduce overwhelm, you don't need to do this all at once. For now, you just need one thing to be automatic instead of full of effort every time. Because remember, the goal is not to try harder. The goal is to stop having to try so hard. So if you feel behind, no worries. It's not because you're doing anything wrong. It's because you're doing the right things, but in the wrong order. And that is totally fixable, not with more discipline, but with more structure. So structure first, behavior second. I hope that helps. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.